You're listening to the Go Getter podcast. I'm your host, Candace. I'm a digital marketing and automation strategist and business coach. I'm the CEO and founder of Epic Fab Girl, where we help Christian women entrepreneurs market and scale their service-based businesses beyond six figures as they grow deeper in their faith. So whether you're a coach, speaker, or a service provider, this podcast will drop gems, bringing you tips, strategies, and stories from experts to help you take your life, business, and relationship with God to the next level. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Go Getter podcast. I'm your host, Candace, and I'm so glad that you're here per usual. Today's episode, we're talking all about how you can position yourself to create better content on social media. So I'm going to be running down a list of the things that you should be doing as a speaker, coach, or a service provider if you're looking to create better content for social media with your content strategy, especially for those of you that are looking to attract more high-paying clients. If you're looking to attract more clients in general, literally, this is an amazing 3-step simplified process that will help you understand how to create better content on social media, regardless of what platform you're on. So one of the things I want to talk about first is let's talk about numbers. I want to talk about how many social media followers I have at the time of recording this. And I'm also going to talk about how long it kind of took me to grow those different platforms. So first things first is my personal brand, Candace. At the time of filming this, I have about 59,000 followers on Instagram. So that is on that page. And then for Epic Fab Girl on Instagram, we've got 49.9 thousand followers. So we're almost right at 50,000 followers on there. And then on TikTok, on my personal TikTok, I have about 60,000 followers on there, and we don't post consistently on TikTok on Epic Fab Girl's page. So the numbers over there don't really matter as much. Of course, I'm on Threads with both of those businesses, but I'm not necessarily leveraging Threads right now to be able to create better content. We are on YouTube, so we leverage those platforms to create content on both sides, but not super duper consistently. So I just wanted to showcase to you guys the numbers and what was there so that you can get an idea of how the strategies that I'm going to share with you can potentially help you based on like where you're trying to grow to. So for me, I love social media. I love content. I love marketing. I love all things content. And in the world of social media, I know a lot of people talk a lot about repurposing content. And I think that's really important because, you can use different forms of content across multiple different platforms. So it doesn't really matter what social media platform you're on. This strategy is literally going to work regardless of what platform you're on. You just want to make sure that you're consistent. Like that's really the most important thing here is like, you got to be consistent. So I'm going to go through the 3 things that I feel like every person that is running a service-based business needs to focus on. And these are the 3 key elements to having a successful social media platform as a business owner. So first thing is first, right? The first thing is that you need to be leveraging your social media content to do this number one thing. And this is to showcase your expertise and establish yourself as an expert. So everything that you put online when it comes to social media literally should be about that. Like, if you are not establishing yourself as an expert, you are really missing the mark. Now, there may be different types of content that you put out there, but you should ask yourself, like, when you're putting out that piece of content, is this something that other people would be able to look at and say, this is really helpful. I see them as an expert in this space, right? And sometimes that might be kind of an odd question to ask yourself, but, if you don't know if your content is positioning you as an expert, you can ask a friend. You can be like, okay, so I am a lash tech. Like, can you look at this video? Does this make me seem like an expert in my space? Or does this make it seem like I don't take my business seriously? Whatever that may be, start asking around if you don't have a good gauge of like what's going to establish you as an expert. Now, some advice on what you can put out there in terms of establishing yourself as an expert. Thing number one is to add value. So let's say if we're rolling with the idea of like being a lash tech or something, you can literally say like, here are 3 ways to clean your lashes at night, right? So you're adding value to the people's lives that are like watching your content, but you're establishing yourself as an expert. One of the pieces of content I saw around Christmas time that I thought was really incredible was it was an ER doctor. And she got on social media and she literally said, avoid these 3 toys or 3 Christmas presents so that you can keep your kid out of the ER. And when she went to talk about it, she said like trampolines and scooters and like all these things. But she was positioning herself as an expert, which I loved every bit of it because she's like, no, like I see this, I live this life and let me help you. And that's essentially what you're going to be doing with your content when you're trying to establish yourself as an expert. You're literally showcasing your expertise, what you know about your industry. And one of the best ways to create content that establishes you as an expert is to answer like frequently asked questions or things that people are asking very often. Like if you get people that are like, okay, like how long should my lashes be like, or how long will the lashes last me? Or when do I need to get a fill in? Like all of these questions are things that you can answer that will help position you as an expert and talking about what you know, right? And so establish yourself as an expert and really position yourself that way. And you can do that by way of your content. I can promise you that if you go to like Instagram or whatever your favorite platform is where you have been saving content, 9 times out of 10, there's some type of form of content in there that is informational that the person is utilizing to position themselves as an expert. So a lot of times educational content and things like that are going to inform you on a specific topic or how to work with someone in that particular way may be a really, really great way to leverage and showcase your expertise. The other thing is to tell your story, right? And I think a lot of people miss out on this opportunity to really like tell their story on social media. You can't assume that everybody who's on your page already knows your story, right? Like I am often telling the story of how I went from $0 to 6 figures in under a year. It is 2024. That story happened in 2020. I am still telling that same story. And you might be wondering like, why is she still talking about this? We tired of hearing this. Okay, you might be tired of hearing it, but somebody somewhere hasn't heard that story yet. And it's still a very impressive and engaging story and a story that's relatable. So tell your story, whatever that may be. It may not be your story of like growing your business or whatever, but it may be your story of like why you started your business. It may be your story of the reason why you love doing what you're doing, or the story of like I have a friend in mind that I'm thinking of. She's another Christian woman entrepreneur. She's an incredible businesswoman, and she has this fragrance line called Be Fragrance. And we remember stories. Her name is Marilyn. We remember stories. And one of the reasons why she started her business was that I think she lost someone close in her life, and she would always remember them from their scent and from their fragrance. And she was able to hear stories about this person, but the scent was the thing that reminded them of that person, and they could remember the smell. And so that's why she started a business, because she always remembered this person smelled good. So there was a storyline behind it. Now, I love that because there's always a way that people can connect and remember the story and tell the story for you, but it still establishes you as an expert. And, and it connects the story of like why you're doing what you're doing to the actual work that you do for your clients and for the people that you're called to. Okay. So number one, you should absolutely be establishing yourself as an expert in your space, and you should be leveraging content to establish yourself as an expert. If you've learned anything from this podcast, I know you're going to love the Go Getter Confidential Click at gogettermembership.com. It's a global membership community for Christian women entrepreneurs to connect, build wildly profitable service-based businesses, and grow their faith. So whether you're just getting started with an idea or you already have an established brand and you want to lay the foundation for six-figure income, the Go Getter membership is just what you need. With expert masterclasses, monthly prayer, and tons of courses and downloads, your business will be better because of it. Entrepreneurship isn't easy, but this community will help you go from feeling stuck to clear and motivated. Join today at gogettermembership.com and save 50% off your first 3 months when you use code podcast at checkout. We'll see you inside. Now, thing number 2, can you guess what it is? And it's really simple and easy. Like, you should not be on social media without thinking about this thing. Like, you literally should not be on social media without thinking about number 2, which is getting leads. Now, as I'm talking about getting leads, I want to be very clear about what a lead is, because I feel like a lot of people think they understand what a lead is, and it is not necessarily a lead. I do not consider someone a lead until they have given me their information and allowed me to interact with them outside of the platform that I initiated with them on. So, for example, let's say you want to generate a lead from Instagram. Just because someone DMs you on Instagram, that does not mean that they are a lead. They do not become a lead until they have filled out a form. They've put their number in there somewhere and you got their number or their email address. That is when they become a lead. Why? Because now you can put them into some form of a funnel or follow-up sequence where you can follow up with them, or you have a path or a plan that you can take them down where you're going to eventually get them to become a customer. So when I tell you, it's so important to make sure that you are generating leads. So the way that you can generate leads on social media is you're going to be leveraging your content to say, hey, for example, let's say if you have amazing like toothpaste. I don't know why that came to mind, but let's say if you have this amazing toothpaste. Maybe someone, stocked up on toothpaste all year long and they don't need your toothpaste right now, but maybe you have this really amazing resource that is like, 10 ways to whiten your teeth or 10 ways to brush your teeth better so you can have whiter teeth. So maybe that's the free resource that you have, and you can create a video like, look at my white smile. Look at it. So great. I have this amazing free resource at the link in my bio. And then when people go sign up for that resource, they would either give in their phone number or their email address in exchange for that same free resource. And that is basically a lead magnet or something like that, a lead magnet or a freebie. So you should definitely be leveraging social media to generate leads to the lead magnets that you have. If you have lead magnets that nobody knows about, nobody's going to know about it unless you talk about it. Like literally, nobody's going to know about the lead magnets that you have, no matter how amazing they are, unless you talk about it. So you should be leveraging your social media content to generate leads. And you want to make sure that you're having clear call to actions in your social media content. So what is a call to action? A call to action is just a simple way of telling people what to do next, right? You're calling them to take some sort of an action. So perfect example, which is actually a really great resource for y'all right now, which is my digital resource for those who are looking to create better content on social media. It's a 30-day social media content plan. So literally, if you go to gogettermembership.com/content plan, you'll be able to download 30 days of content ideas for you to utilize across social media platforms. So that is a really great example of a lead magnet or something that will help you generate leads. For example, you may be watching this on YouTube or listening to the podcast on your favorite podcasting platform, but that doesn't mean that I have your email address. That doesn't mean that I have your phone number. So in order for me to get it, guess what? I just gave you the 30-day social media content plan. You can head over to gogettermembership.com/content plan and get access to that right now. And once you download that, you then become a lead for me. So this is a very natural way where you can just really add value to people and say, hey, download this free resource that is of value to you. And you're positioning your content on social media. If you're already doing a good job of positioning yourself as an expert, then generating leads shouldn't be a problem, but you want to make sure that you're giving them that call to action. Don't just put the content up there and be like, oh yeah, this is what I do, but give them something to do next, like so that you can generate leads and leverage social media to continue to generate leads in your business. Okay. Now, number 3, you might wonder, like you might be wondering what number 3 is, but number 3 is probably the number one reason why anybody's on social media to begin with, is to get sales. I know we want to use social media to build brand awareness and all of that, but brand awareness is really a part of number 1, which I told you is establishing yourself and your business and your agency and your company as an expert online. And so for number 3, you should be leveraging your social media content to get sales. So what does that mean? You can literally leverage your content to tell people, hey, this is what we do. And if you want to work with us, here's how to work with us. A lot of times you may be wondering like why you're not getting sales and why you're not getting clients, but you're not even getting your audience to go into your funnel. So to get your audience into your funnel, you got to find a way like, okay, if I'm going to get a lead. So perfect example is like, if you want to get more sales and you know that like the way that you make sales is doing sales calls and like booking discovery calls, then what you need to do is be intentional about using your content to educate your audience and put out content to help them. But at the end of it, say, hey, like if you're looking for someone who's going to help you with XYZ, you should click the link in the bio, book a call, get on our calendar, and we'll talk about how we can better serve you, right? So you should be leveraging your social media content to say, book a call and do that consistently. The other really important thing here is like, you can also do direct to like telling people about your offers and stuff and like putting that out there on social media if you want. So a really great example of that, I see a lot of trademark attorneys who do it, who will say, for this month, instead of the trademark being $1,500, it's $1,200 if you buy it by XYZ date. So you may have that you may be able to leverage your social media platform to, especially if you have a high ticket offer and your offer doesn't change month after month, you can definitely leverage it to say, hey, here's the service that we offer, here's the price point, and go ahead and book. But that's not always going to work best for a service provider, for every single service provider. So like coaches and experts and things like that, a lot of times that's why we have our Launch a Profit Accelerator, which basically brings you through this path of growing your business and, putting out content and really closing the sale and finding a way to do that without just saying buy from me on social media. So that is a really great resource for you guys. If you're interested in the Launch a Profit Accelerator, you can always head over to gogettermembership.com/LPA. So LPA for Launch and Profit Accelerator. And you guys can find out more information about it there. But again, what you want to be doing with your content is number 1, you want to be leveraging it to establish yourself as an expert. Number 2, you want to be leveraging it so that you can get and generate leads. And number 3, you want to be leveraging it so that you can get sales. So yes, put content out there, but make sure that your content has a goal. Because if your content does not have a goal, you're just posting content with really no purpose. And sure, people may like your personality or, like your post just because they know you. But really, if you want to shift from creating like, mediocre content to actually creating really great content that is going to help you actually get leads and make more sales, then you want to be focused on that. And again, I have a really amazing resource that you guys can download, which is the 30-day social media content plan. And you really can leverage it for any platform. And it'll give you ideas on types of content that you can post that can help you connect with your audience and really help position you as an expert. All right. So thank you guys so much for this amazing episode and listening and sitting and hanging out with me. As y'all already know, we always drop podcasts every single week. So for this season, we're rocking and rolling. We're so glad that you've been here and hanging out with us. And again, I'll see you guys on the next episode of the Go Getter Podcast. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Go Getter Podcast. If you love this conversation, you're going to love the panels and workshops that are at Go Getter Conference. It's our premier event of the year and it happens annually. It's going to help you market and monetize your God-given ideas and connect with women from across the globe. Head over to gogetterconference.com to check it out right now. And just for staying until the end of this episode, we have a special gift for you, the Go Getter Plan and Profit Workbook. This workbook is going to help you plan your income for the year. So head to gogetterpodcast.com/plan and profit to get your copy. And don't forget to drop a 5-star review if you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you on the next episode of the Go Getter Podcast.